In a cruel twist, my family invited me to what I thought was a peaceful dinner, only to drop the bombshell that their entire inheritance was being left to my siblings, while I was getting nothing. The worst part? They smiled while saying it. My father placed his carving tool down and focused an icy gaze on me. You are disinherited. Not a single coin for you. Very well, I replied, my tone unwavering as I pushed my dish away. Then do not anticipate another cent from me. I rose, the chair screeching loudly, and exited the room. That moment sparked their retribution. Emma Grayson adjusted her rearview mirror as her vehicle merged onto I-5, the gentle hum of her hybrid slicing through the Seattle mist at 30. She had established a robust existence as an architect, with acclaimed designs, a chic downtown apartment, and a quiet pride in her self-reliance. However, the communication from her father 2 days prior had unsettled her. We miss you, Em, he had said, his voice softer than she'd heard in years. Come to Portland for supper Friday. Let's mend things. She had paused, her thumb hovering over the decline option. For more than a decade, her family, parents Tom and Linda, brother Liam, sister Chloe, had only contacted her when their financial reserves were depleted. Still, a glimmer of optimism pulled at her. Perhaps this time, their intentions were genuine. The 3-hour journey strained her composure. Portland's familiar avenues unfolded past the craftsman residence she'd helped preserve from foreclosure, past the eatery where she'd transferred funds for Chloe's urgent rent. Emma parked outside the ancestral residence, its flaking paint a silent testament to her efforts. She retrieved the bottle of Pinot Noir she'd brought, an offering of peace, and stepped into the crisp October air. The porch light emitted a welcoming glow. She knocked, and Linda opened the door, her smile strained but inviting. Emma, you arrived. Tom gestured from the kitchen, wearing an apron, while Liam and Chloe reclined at the table, engrossed in their devices. The scent of roasted poultry permeated the atmosphere. For an instant, Emma allowed herself to believe this could signify a fresh beginning. Emma placed the Pinot Noir on the table, the gentle sound of glass against wood merging with the soft conversation. The dining area felt like a relic from the past, the same worn oak table, the same faded floral drapes she offered to replace years ago. Tom carved the chicken, steam rising, while Linda passed the mashed potatoes. Liam sprawled in his seat, making a jest about Portland's precipitation, and Chloe chuckled, her freshly manicured nails catching the light. Emma smiled, allowing the sense of normalcy to settle in. She had nearly forgotten the pleasant sensation of being with them without an impending crisis. Then Liam leaned back, smirking. So, we have news. Mom and Dad finalized the will. His tone was casual, but his eyes held a sharp gleam. Emma's fork paused midair. Oh, she uttered, glancing at Tom, who occupied himself with his plate. Linda sipped her water, avoiding Emma's gaze. Yes, Liam continued. The house, the coastal cabin, the savings, it's all divided between me and Chloe. He popped a piece of chicken into his mouth as if commenting on the weather. Chloe twirled a strand of hair, her lips curving into a slight smile. Emma's stomach plummeted. What about me? Her voice emerged softer than intended. Linda sighed, setting her glass down. You have your profession, Emma. Your firm is thriving. Liam is still finding his footing, and Chloe, well, she has ambitions to pursue. They require this more. Tom kept his head down, slicing meat with unnecessary intensity. Require it more? Emma echoed, warmth rising in her neck. She looked at Chloe, who had withdrawn from art school after Emma paid $30,000 in tuition, then at Liam, whose business concepts had consumed another $50,000 of her savings. You're jesting, right? She forced a laugh, awaiting someone to break character. But Liam shrugged, as conceited as ever. You're the prominent architect. What's a cabin to you? Chloe chimed in. Yeah, Em, don't be dramatic. It's not as if you're struggling. The room seemed to tilt. Dramatic? She had transferred them $1,800 every month for years. Mortgage, utilities, Liam's car payments, while they treated her like an automated teller machine with a pulse. Tom finally looked up, his eyes weary but unapologetic. We presumed you'd be fine, he mumbled. Emma placed her fork down, the clatter loud in the sudden quiet. The chicken now tasted like ash, the cozy glow of the chandelier mocking her. She had driven 3 hours for this, a calculated ambush disguised as family time. Her chest tightened, not with sorrow, but with a raw, emerging rage. They didn't miss her. They had lured her here to boast, to rub her exclusion in her face. She stared at their expectant expressions, the snare closing around her. Emma's hands clutched the table's edge, knuckles whitening as the weight of Liam's remarks settled like a stone in her stomach. The self-satisfaction on his face, Chloe's nonchalant smirk, her parents' averted eyes, it was overwhelming. She took a sharp breath, her voice steady but infused with fire. Let me understand this clearly. I've invested over $200,000 into this family. Mortgage payments, Chloe's art school, Liam's ventures. And you believe I don't merit a single cent because I've achieved success? Liam scoffed, leaning back. Oh, here we go. Emma, keeping records? You're just upset you can't profit now. Chloe rolled her eyes, flicking her nails. Seriously, Em, it's not about money. You're obsessed with it. Linda crossed her arms, her tone sharp. Family isn't about tallying scores, Emma. We thought you'd comprehend sacrifice. Tom remained silent, prodding his potatoes, a coward in his own home. Sacrifice? Emma's laugh was bitter, cutting through the tension. I paid the mortgage when you were 2 months from losing this place. I covered Chloe's tuition when she implored me not to let her aspirations perish. Then she quit. Liam, your craft beer venture? $50,000 wasted because you couldn't be bothered to show up. I worked extra hours, skipped vacations, depleted my savings for you, and you label me obsessed? Her voice rose, each word a hammer driving nails into their flimsy excuses. Liam smirked, unperturbed. You're acting as if we coerced you. You desired to be the savior. Chloe nodded. Yeah, don't make us feel guilty because you're angry now. Linda's expression hardened. We did what's best for everyone. You're fine, Emma? They're not. Tom finally mumbled. It's not personal. His voice barely audible. Not personal? Emma stood, the chair scraping the floor, her pulse throbbing in her ears. I was your safety net for 12 years. I forfeited purchasing a home, traveling, saving for myself, all so you wouldn't flounder. And now you sit there, smirking, telling me I don't require it? You don't even perceive me as family, just a source of income. You owe nothing to her. Her gaze swept the room, landing on each of them. Liam's arrogance, Chloe's entitlement, Linda's cold defiance, Tom's spineless shrug. They were not regretful, they were smug. She stepped back, the air thick with their indifference. You know what? You're right. I don't need this. Her voice turned frigid. But neither do you. Not from me anymore. She grabbed her coat, the Pinot untouched, their stunned silence trailing her like a shadow. This was not a family. It was a parasitic pit, and she was finished feeding it. Emma stormed from the Portland house, the screen door slamming shut behind her with a sharp report that echoed in the quiet night. Her breath plumed in the cool air as she strode to her hybrid, keys jingling in her trembling hand. Linda's voice pierced the darkness. If you depart now, do not expect us to welcome you back. But Emma did not turn. She slid into the driver's seat, the leather cool against her thighs, and gripped the steering wheel until her knuckles ached. The 3-hour journey back to Seattle stretched ahead, but she embraced it. Distance was her defense now. The highway blurred past, headlights cutting through the gloom. Her mind churned, Liam's smirk, Chloe's dismissive remark, her parents' betrayal, looping like a broken recording. She had been naive, clinging to the notion that kinship implied allegiance. They had never cared. They had merely cashed her checks. By the time she pulled into her Seattle loft's garage, exhaustion mingled with a simmering fury. She tossed her keys onto the counter, the clatter loud in the empty space, and poured a double measure of whiskey. The warmth descending her throat matched the fire in her chest. She sank onto the sofa, gazing at the city lights beyond her window. 12 years of sacrifice, over $200,000 gone, unacknowledged. Then her phone vibrated, a bank notification. The automatic $1,800 transfer to her parents' account was pending. $1,200 for the mortgage, $600 for utilities and incidentals, every month like clockwork. She had sent it. No more. She opened the application, her finger hovering over. Cancel recurring payment. A decade of guilt, obligation, and misplaced hope flashed through her. Linda's tearful pleas for assistance, Tom's silent assent, Liam and Chloe's endless emergencies. She tapped. Cancel. The screen flashed. Successfully terminated. A burden lifted, sharp and sudden, like a chain breaking. The whiskey glass felt heavy in her hand as she leaned back, the silence enveloping her. She had anticipated tears, perhaps remorse, but instead, a strange tranquility settled in. She was no longer their daughter, she was their automated teller, and she had just deactivated the machine. Her phone vibrated again. Linda. Emma, how could you do this? We need to talk. Then Liam. You're a real piece of work, cutting us off. Chloe. Selfish much? She silenced the notifications, each chime a fading echo of their sense of entitlement. She stood, pacing to the window. Puget Sound glittered below, indifferent and vast. She had given them everything, time, money, parts of herself, and they had scorned it. The dinner was not reconciliation, it was a victory lap for exploiting her. Her reflection stared back, weary but resolute. I'm done, she whispered, the words a solemn pledge. She drained the last of the whiskey, the burn grounding her. No more late night pleas, no more rescuing them. She had spent years constructing their lives while neglecting her own. New furnishings, a journey to Iceland, a larger savings account, all postponed for them. Now that money was hers. Emma set the glass down, a faint smile touching her lips. The emptiness where family once resided ached, but it was not loss. It was space, raw and open, awaiting her to fill it. For the first time in years, she felt liberated. Emma awoke to the muted gray light of Seattle filtering through her loft's blinds, the serenity from last night's decisions still lingering. She prepared coffee, savoring the quiet until her phone jolted her back to reality. Texts accumulated. Linda. You're breaking my heart, Emma. Call me. Liam. You think you can just abandon us? Watch yourself. Chloe. Wow, deserting family over a will? Pathetic. She deleted them, refusing to let their malice seep in. She had severed the financial connection. They would have to manage the rest. By noon, the harassment escalated. Her voicemail overflowed, Linda sobbing about hardship, Tom grumbling about disrespect, Liam issuing vague threats. Emma muted her phone, but uneasiness gnawed at her. They were not finished. That evening, a colleague texted, did you see this? A TikTok link followed. Emma's stomach sank as she clicked. Chloe's voice chirped over a shaky video. Meet my sister, the wealthy jerk who abandoned us because we didn't fawn over her. It featured clips from an old Zoom call, Emma expressing frustration about their constant demands, edited to make her sound shrill and avaricious. Text overlays screamed. She cut us off. The video had 50,000 views, comments piling up. What a snob, family's forever loser, bet she's rolling in cash while they starve. Emma's face burned, humiliation washing over her. Clients emailed, inquiring if everything was alright after seeing it. Her reputation, hard-earned and spotless, was fracturing. She recognized Chloe's petty handiwork, but the public shaming stung deeper than she had anticipated. She paced her loft, fury mingling with shame. They couldn't simply let her go, they had to drag her down. She screenshotted the video, hands shaking, contemplating a reply. But before she could, her phone vibrated again, a notification from her apartment security application. She opened it, rewinding the footage from that afternoon. There, at 2:17 p.m., a figure in a dark hooded sweatshirt limped toward her parking spot, Liam, his uneven gait unmistakable. He knelt by her hybrid, slashing all four tires with a pocket knife. He glanced up, smirking at the camera, before casually walking away. Emma's breath caught, rage surging. She checked her car, tires flat, rubber shredded. Repair costs flashed in her mind, $800, perhaps more. She saved the footage, her resolve hardening. They had crossed the boundary from guilt trips to vandalism. The following morning, her lawyer, Sarah, called. Received your email about the video and tires. Bad news. Liam filed a small claims suit yesterday. Claims you owe $50,000 for emotional distress and abandoned support. But he's playing dirty. Emma's jaw clenched. He slashed my tires, Sarah. I have proof. Sarah paused. Send it over. We'll counter this, defamation, property damage. You have the advantage if we act swiftly. Emma hung up, staring at the security stills. Liam's smug face taunted her. Emotional distress? She had financed their lives, $300,000 over 12 years, and they had the audacity to sue her? She leaned against the counter, coffee cold in her hand. The TikTok humiliation had wounded her pride. The tires and lawsuit targeted her finances. They believed she would yield, overwhelmed by their chaos. But she was not the same Emma who had driven to Portland with hope. She forwarded the footage to Sarah, then opened her banking application. The $1,800 she would have sent this month now sat in her account. They had lost their hold, and she would ensure they felt it. This was not merely retaliation, it was conflict, and she was not backing down. Emma stood in her loft's kitchen, the boarded-up balcony door a stark reminder of Chloe's brick. The Seattle skyline was muted by a drizzle that mirrored her mood. The slashed tires sat in her garage, a $900 bill. Already paid, and Liam's small claims lawsuit loomed like a dark cloud. Her lawyer, Sarah, had the security footage and was constructing a counter case. But the sheer nerve of it, $50,000 for emotional distress, gnawed at her. She had given them everything, and they had weaponized it. Her phone remained silent now, her family's barrage of texts and calls replaced by an unsettling quiet. She knew better than to trust it. 2 days later, the storm erupted. A process server knocked at her door, handing her a manila envelope. Inside, Liam's lawsuit had escalated, now a civil claim in Superior Court, alleging she'd breached a verbal agreement to support the family indefinitely. He demanded $75,000, citing her abrupt withdrawal as the cause of their financial ruin. Attached were sworn statements from Linda and Chloe, asserting Emma's selfishness had left them impoverished. Emma's hands trembled as she read. Impoverished? She had paid their mortgage until last month. This was not merely petty, it was a calculated falsehood to drain her dry. Sarah called an hour later, her voice tight. They have no evidence, but they're banking on you settling to avoid the trouble. Court set for next month unless we push back hard. Emma paced, fury simmering. Push back? I have bank statements, $300,000 in transfers over 12 years. They cannot rewrite history. Sarah agreed but cautioned. This will cost you. Legal fees could reach $10,000. Emma swallowed the bitter truth. She would fight, even if it depleted her. That night, the retaliation turned physical again. She awoke to a crash outside her loft at 3 a.m. heart pounding. She checked her security feed. A brick lay shattered on her balcony, glass from a sliding door pane glittering in the moonlight. The camera captured Chloe this time, hood up, arm cocked, hurling the brick before sprinting away. Emma's breath hitched, adrenaline surging. She contacted the police, who arrived within 20 minutes, a tired officer jotting notes. Recognize her? He asked, watching the footage. My sister, Emma said, her voice flat. He raised an eyebrow but logged it, promising an investigation. Repair estimate, $1,200. Another blow to her savings. By morning, exhaustion contended with rage. She sent the new footage to Sarah, who added it to the counterclaim. Vandalism, harassment, defamation, this strengthens our case, Sarah stated. But they're unhinged. Stay vigilant. Emma nodded, staring at the boarded-up balcony door. Unhinged didn't begin to cover it. They had progressed from guilt-tripping her to attacking her life, tires, reputation, now her home. She envisioned Chloe's sneer, Liam's limp, her parents' insincere tears in court. They believed she would crumble under the pressure, that she would pay to make it cease. She opened her laptop, pulling up the TikTok video, now with 80,000 views, and the deluge of animosity it had unleashed. Then she checked her bank account. The $1,800 from this month's cancelled payment, a small buffer against the escalating costs. She was not wealthy, merely financially secure. Every dollar she had withheld from them was now a lifeline. Her jaw tightened. They had misjudged her. She had spent years accommodating them, but this Emma, the one they had pushed too far, would not break. She would fight not for vengeance, but for the tranquility she deserved. The legal expenses stung, the broken glass cut deeper, but she stood firm. They had initiated this conflict, she would conclude it. Emma sat at her kitchen counter, the boarded-up balcony door a stark reminder of Chloe's brick. Her laptop glowed with Sarah's latest email. Counterclaim filed, defamation, vandalism, harassment. Court dates in 3 weeks. We have them. The bank statements, $300,000 in transfers over 12 years, lay printed beside her, a paper bulwark against Liam's falsehoods. The security footage of Chloe and Liam's assaults was uploaded, irrefutable. Emma's savings had taken a hit, $12,000 in legal fees, repairs, and rising, but she was not retreating. They had cornered her, now she would push back. She opened Instagram, fingers hovering over the keyboard. The TikTok video still festered online, portraying her as a callous snob. She had remained silent too long. She typed, "For 12 years, I supported my family. $300,000 for their mortgage, bills, my siblings' aspirations. They disinherited me, then slandered me when I stopped. Chloe's viral video, twisted lies. Liam's lawsuit, fiction. They vandalized my car, my home. Here is the truth." She attached bank records, screenshots of the slashed tires, the brick incident, redacting just enough for privacy. She hit post, heart pounding. This was not for sympathy, it was to expose their narrative. Within hours, the post exploded, 10,000 likes, hundreds of shares, comments pouring in. "You're a saint for enduring that long, good for you, stay strong, girl." The tide turned. Chloe's TikTok began losing followers, overwhelmed by backlash. Emma exhaled, attention easing. She had reclaimed her voice, and they could no longer silence her. Sarah called the next day. "The court is expediting. Your evidence is airtight. Liam's lawyers are scrambling. Those affidavits from your parents are crumbling under scrutiny." Emma smirked. "Good. Let them squirm." A week later, the police followed up. Chloe faced misdemeanor charges for the brick, Liam for the tires. The legal snare tightened. Emma pictured them in that Portland house, plotting their next move, oblivious to the pit they were digging. Her counterclaim proceeded to court first. Sarah dismantled Liam's case in under an hour. Bank records substantiated Emma's support, security footage confirmed the vandalism, and the Instagram post exposed the defamation. The judge's gavel fell. Liam owed $15,000 for damages, Chloe $5,000 for the balcony. Their lawsuit collapsed, dismissed with prejudice. Emma exited the courthouse, rain slicking her coat, a quiet triumph burning in her chest. They had attempted to bury her, she had buried them instead. Back home, she poured a glass of wine, the loft's silence broken only by the patter of rain. Her phone vibrated, a Venmo notification, $20,000 from Tom and Linda, tagged. Settlement. No note, no apology. She stared at it, then transferred it directly to a charity for exploited caregivers. She did not require their hush money, she required them gone. The TikTok video faded into obscurity, her clients ceased asking questions, and her life stabilized. They had lost their power, and she had gained hers. For once, the struggle felt worthwhile. Emma leaned against her newly repaired balcony railing, the Seattle skyline twinkling below as dusk settled. The court victory still resonated within her. Liam and Chloe's fines, their lawsuit dismantled, the $20,000 from her parents redirected to charity. She had blocked their numbers after the transfer, severing the final link. The silence was initially profound, a void where their demands once echoed, but it transformed into serenity. She had gained more than money, she had reclaimed her existence. With the $1,800 monthly drain gone, her bank account flourished. She enrolled in a kayaking course on Lake Union, the paddles slicing through water, a balm to her frayed nerves. She purchased a canvas and paints, splashing colors late into the night, something she had never had time for with work. A colleague, Mia, observed the change. "You're lighter," she remarked over coffee. Their conversations evolved into hikes, then dinners. Mia's gentle warmth offered a stark contrast to the family Emma had shed. One evening, Mia's hand brushed hers, and Emma did not withdraw. She had not sought affection, but it had found her, unblemished by expectation. Whispers filtered back through old acquaintances. Linda now waited tables at a modest diner, her spa days a distant memory. Tom hauled lumber at a hardware store, his silence no longer cushioned by Emma's checks. Liam, jobless, peddled his startup concepts online to no avail. Chloe's Instagram posts, once gleaming with borrowed luxury, faded to grainy selfies, her follower count dwindling. They struggled, but Emma felt no satisfaction. They had engineered their own downfall, not her. She stood on the balcony, a mug of tea warming her hands. The legal scars, $12,000 in fees, stung less now, offset by the freedom they purchased. She had once driven to Portland chasing a family that never truly existed, but releasing them had liberated her. Kayaking, painting, Mia's laughter, it was hers, unattached to anyone. The will's exclusion, once a blade, had become a gift, severing their hold. She sipped her tea, the city lights a constellation of possibilities. They had attempted to shatter her, tires, bricks, falsehoods, but she had emerged stronger. Emma smiled, small but genuine. Justice was not merely the court's verdict, it was this, living for herself, finally free. Emma stood on a windswept bluff overlooking Puget Sound, the late autumn sun casting a golden hue across the waves.